exponent equations. All right, so if you recall, exponent equations is any equation where the variable is an exponent. Right? Any equation where the variable is an exponent. For example, 4 raised to x equals 13. This is an exponent equation because your variable is in your exponent. Now, how would we solve this? Okay, how would we solve this? Well, first, you must get rid of base 4. Oops, forgot to get rid of. So you must get rid of base 4. What's the base 4? That's the base 4. Right, that is your base number. And the first thing you must do is get rid of that base number. So, to start the process, you need to ask yourself, what is the opposite of 4 raised to a number? Of 4 raised to an exponent? Well, the answer is log base 4. Alright, so what we got to do for 4x equals 13, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by the log base 4. Log base 4, and then we're going to take the 13 and multiply it by the log of base 4. So let me erase that and slide it over. Log base 4 of 13. Now, if you remember your power rule, the power rule drops the x down to the front. Right, so now it's no longer here. And then the log base 4 of 4 is 1. Because if when you do your spiral, 4 raised to what is 4? Well, the answer is 1. So x times log base 4 of 4 is simply x times 1, which is simply x, and that's going to equal the log base 4 of 13. All right? Now, to solve this out, you're going to have to do your change of base formula. So x equals the log, or natural log, of 13 divided by the log, or natural log, depending on what this one is. These have to match, of 4. Remember, you can draw like your little fraction bar in between here. So it's the log base 10 of 13 over the log base 10 of 4. Or you can do the natural log of 13 over the natural log of 4. Either way, it's going to give you the same answer. Punch this guy into the calculator, and you should get x is 1.85. 1.85. Alright, so to review, what you have to do is you take your base number, you have to get rid of that base by multiplying by the opposite, which is the log of that base. So you have log base 4 of 4, get rid of the log base 4, and you're left with x, which was your exponent, equals log base 4 of 13. Do change the base formula, and you get your answer. Alright, let's try a different problem. Let's solve for x. We have 3 times 5 raised to 2x minus 1 equals 9. So how are we going to find x? Alright, how are we going to find x? Well, first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of everything else on this side and leave just the 5 raised to 2x. So add 1, add 1. So 3 times 5 raised to 2x equals 10. Divide off the 3 now. So 5 raised to 2x equals 3.3333 repeating. I would recommend leaving it as a fraction. Alright, so now, how are we going to get rid of the 5? Well, if you remember from before, we got to multiply by the log with this base. So we're going to multiply this side by the log base 5 of 5 raised to 2x, and that's going to equal the log base 5 of 3.33 repeating. Alright, now remember this and the 5 cancel out, leaving you with the 2x. Okay, that's kind of the shortcut. You don't have to drop it to the front, then do the log. This will give you 1, and this will drop down, and that's going to equal the log base 5 of 3.333. But of course, you have to do change of base, which is the log. You can do 10 or natural log, doesn't matter, of 3.33 repeating, divided by the log base 10 of 5. Alright, the answer to that, alright, that's your change of base. The answer to that will give you 0.748, and then bring that back in over here and plug it in. So 0.748. Now, since 2x equals that, you have to divide both sides by 2. So x will leave you 0.374. Alright, 0.374 is your answer. Alright, pretty simple, I think. So we're just simply solving for x. We added 1 to both sides to get rid of the negative 1 on this side. So that's 3 raised to 5. 3 times 5 raised to 2x equals 10. Divide both sides by 3. 5 raised to 2x equals 3.33 repeating. Take the log base 5 of both sides, because whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So log base 5 of 5 raised to 2x is just 2x. So log base 5 of 3.33, you got to do change of base, and that gives you 0.748. Plug that back in over here. Divide both sides by 2 to get your final answer. Alright. So, now here's the you try. There's going to be no chicken in the door for this one. Alright, I want you to try this one. I want you to solve for x. Your equation is 7 times 3 raised to 4x plus 1. So now I've added a little bit more to your variable. To your exponent. Minus 6 equals 12. Alright, so pause the video and solve this. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, add 6 to get rid of that to both sides. So 7 times 3 raised to 4x plus 1 equals 18. Divide both sides by the 7 to get rid of it. So 3 raised to 4x plus 1 equals 2.571. Alright, now since our base number here is 3, we want to take the log base 3 of both sides. Alright, now remember for this side, you need to do change of base. And that'll give you the log of 2.571 divided by the log of 3. And that'll give you 0.860. So bring that back over here and plug it in. So remember this will now cancel with that, leaving you 4x plus 1 equals 0.860. Alright, now minus 1 from both sides. Let me extend the page. Minus 1 from both sides. So 4x equals 0.014. Divide both sides by 4. So x equals negative 0.035. Yes, it is okay for this to be a negative, because it is up in your exponent. I'm trying to get the whole problem in here. Because it is up in your exponent. And then, of course, when you have a negative in your exponent, it just makes your number smaller. It doesn't actually make it negative, it just makes your number smaller. Alright, so the answer to the U-try is negative 0.035. Alright, so exponent equations, not too hard. Just solve them out. There's a lot of algebra in them. You just solve them out for your x value. Okay, it involves logs. You gotta end up taking a log of both sides. But in general, not too difficult. Alright, and like I said, there's no ticket in the door for this one. This is the last problem we're going to go over. I don't think we really need to go over much more for this. So be ready to tackle some problems on this in class tomorrow. Have a good one.